One of the issues that I know a lot of people have talked about over the last year, um, both in the media as well as certain politicians who we'll talk about a little bit later, um, they've talked a lot about crime and kind of what they've insinuated that there's a giant crime wave going on. What can you tell us about what's happening with crime in this country? What's the truth?
So every year the FBI is publishing data about crime. The year before, actually they published quarterly data, but they published sort of finalized annual data. And like clockwork, we have media and particularly some right-leaning politicians who try and leverage any increases in those crime rates, no matter how small or how short-lived, to stir up everybody's fears. It's just literal fear-mongering. But the truth is that crime continues to be at historic lows. It's been declining pretty steadily and holding pretty steady for a number of years. It's continuing to fall. There is some truth to, like, during the pandemic, some places did see an uptick in, particularly in homicides and auto thefts. But that's not something we saw everywhere. And it was a short-term trend. Started going back down in 2021. It fell quite dramatically. Murder rates in particular fell really dramatically in 2023. And the first 6 months of data we have from the FBI from 2024 show that it's continuing to go down. So really, and it's not just murder rates, like almost every kind of crime that people care about, those rates are going down. So it's rape, aggravated assault, robbery, larceny, all of this stuff that people talk about and that we're sort of being told is a crisis is all in sort of the downward trend. So when I sort of pulled back to say, like, okay, how does this look historically? I was looking at the index crime rates and frankly, they're the lowest they've been since the early 1960s. But that is not something that we ever hear. I think that really what changes is people's perceptions of crime, and that's largely a function of media and a function of sort of what they're hearing, from politicians who love to throw people under the bus, that sort of thing. While we're on the subject, and I won't belabor the point, is that I would like to say explicitly that there is no sort of crisis of crime being caused by non-US citizens. There are multiple studies that show that non-US citizens don't commit crimes at higher rates than citizens. So anything that you're hearing like that is just more fear-mongering.